right, so we made our way back into Maryland. We're in a town called Sharpsburg, Maryland. We're at the National Antietam Cemetery, and this is where all of the soldiers were buried. But anyway, they got a regular cemetery on the right, and then over here on the left is the Antietam National Cemetery. 23,000 soldiers were killed in this battle, roughly 23,000. And I'm getting ready to show you where they were all buried. I think they buried the Union soldiers here, and they buried the other ones, the South, the Confederate soldiers, in another area. I could be wrong. We'll let them show us, so that way we know we're not wrong here. All right, so here it is. This is the U.S. National Cemetery. All right, well, that was something. We're getting ready to head to the battlefield now. There's a Confederate soldiers cemetery, so we're going to show you all that too. And there's a story behind how those soldiers were buried. They were buried years later, and I will show you that as well. Okay, everybody, we are at the Antietam battlefield, and we just hit the visitor center, watched about a 25-minute video, and a very informative video, learned a lot. We're starting this tour off at the Dunker Church, which is right here, and 3 Confederate brigades, I guess you could call that, came and moved in this area. They were here around this old church, and the Union, that up there was a cornfield at the time. The Union was up there, and they started a battle early that morning, and the Union tried to advance on this church here and these soldiers, and yeah, a lot of people died right here, right around this building. A lot of men passed away right here, but now it's just been preserved so we can come out here and see it, enjoy it. I'm not gonna give you all the rundown history of it, but there's actual pictures. If you go on Google, some photographers took some pictures of this church. They were kind of standing right over there, and in the forefront of that picture was some soldiers that were dead, and this church was in the background, and it had bullet holes in it. As a matter of fact, I think some of this right here is shrapnel. You can see where shrapnel hit the bricks right here. You can see where shrapnel hit it, damaged it. But I think it was a couple actual cannonballs that went through it, and they had to repair it. But this church building remained, and still remains today, and will remain for a long time. But anyway, we're going to move on through the tour, but I wanted to really show you all this right here. So if you get a chance to come to Antietam battlefield, you ought to do it. It's a lot of history, and this was the turning point in the war. I'm out here in one of these cornfields where this battle took place. Very interesting. It's like a little skirmish that happened out here. The Confederate Army was, I can't remember whether it was the Confederate or the Union Army, was actually camped out here on this farm. There's a farm right here. I'll show you the building. Farmhouse back there, and these barns. They were actually out here, camped out overnight. And even before daylight, it was still stars shining, and the South and the North began to fight each other. Look at this beautiful barn. It's so beautiful up here. Now I can see why people say you've never seen farmland of the North until you've seen the barns, or you hadn't seen them until you see the big barns. I believe it, man. These barns are beautiful. Dude, I would love to metal detect this property. You get caught in here with a metal detector, you'll go under the jail. But it's beautiful though. It's beautiful property. Look at this. I love these old barns. I love these rafters. And now I'm just giving you a tour of everything, but I love it. We're gonna mosey on to the next spot. All right, so we're going down here to what they call the Sunken Road. They said that there's a road right down here. I think I know where it is. I think it's right in front of us here. Was it the Confederate soldiers? Yeah, the Confederate soldiers were traveling this road. Union soldiers up on the hill, and they started shooting at each other. And a lot of Confederate soldiers died right here in this trench. All right, so I come down here, read a few things so I can understand it a little bit better. There was Union troops in the field up there, and they were advancing this way over the hill. And then all the Confederate soldiers were in this trench. And this was nothing more than just a farm field, or a farm roadway. It was a roadway of the farm. They used it just to travel from one field to another, or between two fields. And so the Union soldiers was over there, and the Confederate soldiers were here, and they were advancing, and they were firing on each other just point blank range. When it was all said and done, after about 3.5 hours, about 5,500 soldiers lay dead or wounded right here. So we are now walking on the Burnside Bridge. Kids, two of the kids are back there. This is Antietam Creek right here, and this is where the end of the war pretty much took place. I believe this tree was here during the Civil War. I believe. If not this one, there was one next to it, because in the picture, in the video, or in the picture that you see right after this war happened, right after this battle, like the next day, 2 days later, yeah, this tree was here. This same tree.
Those I just kidding.
That tree was there. Yeah, that thing's huge. That thing big as my living room. It's big, isn't it? But anyway, this is yep, this is what I want to show everybody right here. Here's the rock wall, and then there's a picture of a Union soldier standing right there next to that wall, and they buried some soldiers, dead soldiers, right along that wall right there, and he's standing next to those graves. As this thing ended, South Carolinians actually came up here, and they were in this area, and they pushed back the North. But look at what they got. Finally seen some cannons close up. All right, we finish our day at the Dollar General. We do. We got to pick up some ketchup and some stuff. We're gonna do some hot dogs tonight. So we're finishing this video up. We're gonna hit the cemetery for the Confederate soldiers of the Antietam battlefield. We're gonna hit them not tomorrow, Wednesday, and we are in Hagerstown, Maryland. And behind me here is a graveyard, and they're all unmarked graves. The reason why is because these is where they buried the Confederates from the Battle of Antietam, and there's over 2,000 men buried right here, and they could not identify who they were, so they just buried them. What that say? My camera's in it too.
That says unknown Alabama. Unknown Alabama. 15 boxes, 30 bodies unknown. So a lot of them were 2 per box.
Yeah, 30. Is that how many bodies?
27 boxes.
94.
I was gonna say that looks like 94 bodies.
97 bodies in 94 boxes.
No, that has a loop down there.
Okay.
That's 28 boxes and 53 bodies unknown. Wow. Unknown South Carolina.
Unknown South Carolina right there.
The ones who died in Antietam. Unknown South Carolina.
So that's just right there.
This might be others from South Carolina. I don't know if they buried them in the same
Might be.
section or not. I have to
You
get
got Walls, Sidley, Frazier, Stubbs, Braddock. I know a Frazier at work. I wonder if he had family that was in this battle. Paget, Penn, Hugney, Ferris, Kennedy, and Estes, or Easteds.
Alabama.
Where's Georgia? Got any Georgians in here?
I can't read half this says.
There's some more sons, South Carolina. 15 bodies, something boxes. Unknown, South Carolina.
15 boxes, 25 bodies.
Here they are. Oh, this right here is South Carolina. See? South Carolina.
Wow.
Unknown,
Okay.
Alabama.
So all of that.
Man. That's crazy.
That says South Carolina. Yep. That says Louisiana.
Okay.
That says South Carolina. So they did. That's Louisiana.
Different sections.
Arkansas over there at the very end. Wow.
Man.
That is crazy.
Now what about these others? Unknown. There's a Virginia right there. There's a Hager. No, that's not a Hager. That's a hanger. Virginia, unknown.
I don't know what unknown.
Good night.
I don't know what these are
Mississippi.
saying.
Unknown.
Those
something.
are hard to read. There's unknown Georgia. Here's Georgia.
Okay.
Unknowns, unknown Georgias.
Wow. That is wild. 2451 Confederate States of America soldiers. 2,451. And look here, 2,122 are unknown. Alright, this right here is what they call the Statue of Hope. The state of West Virginia has contributed toward the burial of her dead in this cemetery. And if you ever go to a graveyard that has a Confederate soldier buried, you'll see one of these next to the monument or the gravestone. Where I live at, there's a graveyard near where I work, and I think there's 5 or 6 soldiers that were Confederate soldiers, and right beside the grave marker they have one of those. Sorry about the light. You're gonna get sunlight in it, and sorry, I don't mean for that to happen, but it's gonna happen. This here says the state of Maryland has provided this cemetery and erected this monument to perpetrate the memory of the Confederate dead who fell in the battles of Antietam and South Mountain. So South Mountain is right there near where we're staying at. And then the state of Virginia has contributed toward the burial of her dead in this cemetery. So the Virginia and Maryland, is that right? No, Virginia and West Virginia paid for this piece of property and this marker and everything to be put here to honor these men and to bury them. So, wow. They're all buried here. They're not even marked.